You're watching another Nerd Stalker interview. Hey, we're live. Welcome to another Nerd Stalker interview. Good morning. This is Greg Gloria, aka Social Greg, for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. We are continuing our Kickstarter Unboxed interview segment series, where we highlight current, post Kickstarter entrepreneurs and their stories. Today, I'm pleased to talk with Shaun Alexander, the director of marketing of EchoPack LLC, and a developer of this device on Kickstarter called Total POM, live from Phoenix here on Google Plus Hangouts. EchoPack LLC has designed and developed a Bluetooth GPS-enabled item finder, and I'll let Shaun talk more about that a little bit. A little bit about Shaun Alexander. He's been the director of marketing of EchoPack, a parent company of Echo aluminum pallets and container systems and echo tracking since 2012, and their companies manufacture solutions driven sustainable products for packaging, storage, shipping, distribution, and manufacturing industry. So hey, good morning, Shaun. Thanks for joining us here on Nerd Stalker.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We're happy to be on here, and love your guys' series, so we're excited to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you. We like capturing the stories of Kickstarter. So do you want to add anything about yourself that you want to tell the Nerd Stalker audience?
That's pretty much it, man. I've just been in charge of everything. If it has a logo on it, it has any sort of look and feel to it, with EcoPact and all the subsidiaries and everything for the last 5 years, and it's been an amazing run, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. And now we've decided to launch our new consumer-based tracking system, because we have eco-tracking where we've done business for the business side of tracking, so that they could track all these pallets that we're selling. So then we decided, and we realized that there was a big demand out there for the consumer side, and we saw what Tile was doing and Chipotle was doing, and we realized that our product was quite a bit better, and we could add in features that they didn't have, and so we decided to go ahead and turn it into a consumer-based thing, and so that's where Total POM, which stands for peace of mind, came from. So.
Oh, that's interesting. So you actually had roots back to actually tracking to begin with, so this is just a natural extension then, huh?
That's right. Yeah, in fact, we didn't even think about doing the consumer side until we saw some other Kickstarter campaigns, and we went, wow, we should do that, because there's obviously a demand for people to track things like their dogs, their kids, their keys, and things of that nature. And we went, well, we could do that. So let's go ahead and build our consumer side. But everything we've been doing up until this has been business related. So we specialized in doing it for thousands of items rather than 5. So you may track 5 different things, and that's a lot for a person, but we were doing it for big, huge warehouses and businesses where they would have thousands of pallets that they needed to track and make sure where they were worldwide. And that's what we were in the process of really fine-tuning when we came up with this idea.
Oh, interesting. So you guys have, some pretty deep experience in tracking, it looks like. So let's talk about the Kickstarter campaign. Total POM at the time of our broadcast here is about over 420 backers, and about less than 50% of your goals, and we have about 8 days to go. So I think you're trying to make a big push here. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Total POM product. You talked about Tile, which is probably the most popular thing out there, or one of the first actually. So
Sure.
tell the audience about Total POM and how it's different maybe from Tile.
Well, and the interesting part was that the point that we never really got across very well is that the way that Tile works is, if your tile moves more than 200 feet away from you, it's gone. They can say whatever they want about this social finding system, and everything. It's gone. You're not going to find that thing. There's no way, because once let's say that your dog runs away and it's 2 miles away, what do? You're going to bank on the idea that somebody using that app is going to drive past your dog and then say, oh, look, your dog's over here, and then you can go to that spot as fast as you can, and then the dog's already a mile away from there. So it's like, we just kind of realized that the one thing that we do, the best thing that we do, is we keep track of the things that matter. Tile's great for keeping track of your keys. Who cares about your keys? Your keys aren't going to get up and run away. They're not going to go fall in your pool. They're not going to any of that type of stuff. They're just lost in your couch cushions. So sure, you can hit a button and hear it, and work your way over to it. So they're great for things like that. But we specialize in utilizing GPS and cellular to help you pinpoint the exact location of where your lost item is. So say it is your dog. We make it possible so that if the dog runs away, you'll get a notice immediately saying, hey, the dog's further away than you want him to be or whatever. Now you can go find him, and you can literally, just like you do on a Google map, you pinpoint exactly where your dog is. You just hit, find my dog, and it goes, ping, and it shows it right there on your Google map. You go over, you pick up your dog, and you go about your way. You know, it's a totally different ball game than what Tile offers. So, you know, all those pet lovers and people with kids like myself, I've got 3 boys who are very, very crazy, so I could definitely lose them at any time I want because they're just crazy boys, right? So
Yeah, sure.
anyway, it's nice to know that I can throw a wristband on my kids, and if they get more than 300 feet, I get a ping, and if they do happen to get way further away, then I can just ping them exactly on a Google map and go over there and go grab my kids.
So this is deliverable on a mobile device like a iOS type device, I mean iPhone or Android device, right?
Yep, and we were just doing the iOS side until yesterday, actually, and we decided, you know what, yeah, we made the announcement yesterday to go ahead and add in the Android side to this because we've had such a huge following from an international standpoint, which, to be honest, we really didn't expect, which was part of this Kickstarter thing that we didn't even think a whole lot about. But man, we have a lot of very enthusiastic international fans of this thing, so we're excited to deliver them a product that works the best for them. So we worked out contracts with cellular companies that are worldwide, so we'll be available in over 100 countries worldwide as far as the cellular tracking side of it goes and the GPS tracking goes. And then yeah, so that's kind of what we're offering on that side. So we decided to add in the Android team. So we're bringing in a specific team that does nothing but build the Android-based app for this. So it should be really good.
Yeah, that'll probably accelerate your development quite a bit when they're focused like that. You know,
Yeah.
I think no, that's
Well, we know
wow.
there's a lot of interesting little nooks and crannies that you'll fall into with Android versus iPhone. So if you're good at doing an iPhone app, you may not know all the little idiosyncrasies to an Android side. So we wanted to make sure we got somebody that specialized in that.
So, you know, let's talk a little bit more about the Kickstarter. What made you guys choose Kickstarter as opposed to some other crowdfunding?
You know, we looked at Indiegogo and we thought they might be interesting, but Indiegogo always came across as more of a cause-driven thing, so, you know, help support whatever random cause and things like that. Kickstarter has always kind of felt to me, and I'm a huge fan of Kickstarter. I've supported multiple projects on there. I very much enjoy Kickstarter myself, and so for me it was pretty natural. And I always looked at Kickstarter as the tech version, right? They're the ones that bring all the coolest gadgets and the coolest new things to the market. So I like to go there personally to just see what people are coming up with, because there's some crazy stuff on Kickstarter. It's amazing, you know. So we were excited to be a part of that, and it's been interesting since. But we really enjoyed. We thought, yeah, that's definitely the place for us.
So like, well, talk about the Kickstarter experience. I mean, you guys, this was over a 30-day campaign, I believe.
Yeah,
And yeah, and I think that, you know, you're near home stretch right now, but you know what you know, you learned a little bit maybe about Android, which was kind of interesting, but
yeah.
anything else that you could maybe share with the audience on the
Well,
experience?
honestly, quite a few things really. First, it goes fast, so all of a sudden it's on, and it just boom, and people are coming from everywhere, and you're getting a million questions, a million comments. You're like, whoa, okay, this. Our first day we got like $5,000 or so, and it was like just people pent up, ready to get this thing, and then in flooded questions, and so we really needed to stay up on top of all the comments and everything like that, and that was fun. It was interesting to see the different takes from people worldwide, because all of a sudden we were getting people from Hong Kong asking all about how it would work in Hong Kong and England and Europe and everywhere else, and so that part's been interesting. The interesting part that we ran into is that the biggest issue that we ran into, we have 3 different products that we launched on Kickstarter, which was probably our biggest mistake, actually, by making it a little bit too complicated for people. But you can only choose one perk. You can't say, oh, I want 2 of this perk, or I want this perk and this perk and this perk.
Oh,
So
right,
now we
right,
had to
right.
go through and redo all of our perks because we realized people wanted 2 or 3 of these, or 2 POMs and 3 total POMs, and so now our perks went from being about 6 different perks to like 30.
Whoa.
So word of advice for anybody out there that is going to do a Kickstarter campaign: choose a product, one. Whatever that product is, launch that product. We launched 3. It got really kind of things get lost in the message when you do 3, and they can only choose one perk. It gets complicated for the end user. So anyway, that was one major learning experience that we ran into
Yeah,
that we couldn't change once we did. So we were kind of stuck with the 3 versus just having our. We would just launch a total POM because that's our bread and butter. That's what we know best. The POM is just like a tile. That's our cheap version. It's just a Bluetooth one. It's just like a tile. Total POM adds in GPS and cellular, which is where we shine. That's what we do. And then the POM Link, that adds a whole level of complexity that most people don't end up picking up on. So so that would have been a word of advice for upcoming Kickstarters, that if you're looking at doing this thing, choose one and launch your Kickstarter around that one.
I mean, Kickstarter. I look at it, Sean. It's almost like test marketing in a way,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. And the problem that and like I said, if you're going to test a market, choose one and test it. Choose your product, whatever it is that you want to go do. Choose that one and go see what people think about it and go from there. And the really good thing that we did get out of the whole thing is we realized that people really like what we're doing, and we will, if this Kickstarter campaign doesn't end up panning out, we'll go do another one. We'll be back and we'll do another one because we're already building it. Whether we do Kickstarter or not, the product's going to come out. We have the funds and we're going to build the product. We more or less did this to make sure that we would have the mass need and the mass want for it so that we can lower the prices. But as far as development and continuing everything, not a problem. We're going to make sure we continue to do all that for our fans and our customers and the supporters that we do have. They're excited, and we've gotten a lot of emails recently going, "What are you going to do if you don't make it? What are you going to do if you don't make it?" It's like, it's not a big
Oh
deal.
yeah. Right.
We were testing the waters, and like I said, it's a good test market. We want to see what type of demand there would be for our product, and there is a good demand for the total POM. So we're going to continue to press forward with all that.
And I like one thing you did mention about your product, that like if it has legs or wheels, you can't really track it with the tile device.
Yeah,
So,
that's
um,
right.
and I'm sure like people who have valuables like bicycles and stuff like that would love to find out where they rolled to if
Yeah.
if they got stolen or anything like that. So that's
It's been crazy. Like, so me and you, we'll think of dogs, kids, bikes, things like that. We had a guy that asked us if he could track horses. He's going to put them in his horseshoe or something, and he has hundreds of horses. I was like, what? I would have never in a million years thought about tracking a horse. Would have never crossed my mind, not once. And all of a sudden, you got these and then we have people that want to track their boats while they're out at sea, so that people can see, okay, they're here. Just the amount of applications for it has gone through the roof for us. So it's been exciting from that standpoint to see what people plan on doing with it. It's like, oh, wouldn't have thought about that. So very cool. We're excited to see what you'll do. So that's been a fun side to it as well.
Yeah, the a lot of the entrepreneurs we interview here on Kickstarter Unboxed does they say the use cases go up significantly from what they want. But I mean, who could ever know all their use
Oh,
cases
sure,
anyway, right?
sure,
Right.
sure.
But
Pretty on that list.
one thing that had hit me is you mentioned that you got a lot of messages, but like when you're a small team, and most of these startups that are on Kickstarter are small teams, managing, I would think, all these responses. I mean, how do you guys do that?
Yeah, it became much more time consuming than we expected. So that something you want to kind of plan on if you're doing your Kickstarter thing, because we didn't, and it quickly became overwhelming. What we ended up doing is we have one person really that's all he does. I mean, he's very limited to do anything else because it's an all day constant thing, and you want to stay on top of it. So that's what he does. He answers all the emails, all the direct messages, all the comments, and then we're on different blogs and stuff like that. So he has to kind of go around there and make sure that people aren't being retarded on there. And we've had trolls like any other online websites get, and and so they like to pitch their own product on your stuff. So you have to kind of monitor everything. So it's almost like you need your own, admin person to do nothing but monitor everything that's going on, which was unexpected. And so that was an interesting learning experience for us as well. So
Yeah,
we're just
I think
keep
a
it up.
lot of people just don't understand the full volume. I mean, if it's a popular product like yours, and you want to hope
Yeah,
and pray that it is a popular product, that's a
yeah,
good problem to have, but it is a
yeah,
problem to have, right?
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what we keep saying too. So we're happy to respond to people, and we like getting all the questions and the inquiries and everything else because it opens our mind a little bit to things that we may have missed or things that we didn't explain well. So for me, from a marketing standpoint, it's nice to kind of get that feedback from people because you go, okay, well, we need to make sure that we clarify that moving forward and so on. But it is a time-consuming task. There's no question.
Yeah, and I think the neat thing about Kickstarter or any other crowdfunding campaign really is that you have the ability to change the message online, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
that was nice. And we
yeah.
utilized that feature very frequently. Actually, we didn't want to like not do what we originally said, but we had to make some major changes because, like I said, all of a sudden we realized that people could only order one perk. It was like, oh, okay,
Mm.
well, this guy wants three, and that person wants four, and this person wants this combo. So then we had to try and think of the most popular combos. It got kind of crazy, and so yeah, and then by adding an Android and things like that, all of a sudden we were able to go back through the Kickstarter campaign and say, okay, here's our new picture for this, and now here's a Samsung phone with it, things like that. So it's nice that you can kind of update on the fly, which is a really cool feature that Kickstarter does offer. Because if they didn't, we would have been in big trouble.
Yeah, and I think with especially anything digital, web, whatever. I mean, it's like a mini product page, right? So it's kind of a
Yeah,
neat thing. Now
yeah,
you guys did some videos
yeah,
for
yeah. We
this.
shot a couple of videos for it. I did one where we were actually showing off the app itself in its current form because we did it for eco tracking. So
Hmm.
we were showing off the fact that, hey, look, here's your tag, and look, it went further away, and here it is on the phone, showing it getting further away, and so just showing the ability to track it and things like that. We did do the professional video like everybody does. Um, that was a bit more confusing than we would have thought. We more or less, because there's a lot of different levels you could do on Kickstarter, right? You can just grab a camera and go shoot your thing and make it very personal.
Yeah.
And people like that. It's not like they don't. Or you can go and hire somebody and pay lots of money to have a video person go and do that for you, and or a team and everything, and they can make that nice professional video. We opted to kind of go the friends and family route. So we found a good friend of ours that does do videography, and he offered his services, and we offered him some free total palms actually. So that was kind of one of the perks that we had is when you have a cool product, they're happy to kind of work for your product instead of money, which was nice. So
Yeah.
I would suggest going that route if people are considering it. It's not a bad route to go because you have something that they would be interested in, so offer it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of content creators out there from, I'd call starving college grads. I don't like
Oh
to call
yeah.
them that too much,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's a reality to,
Sure.
people who just care, are friends of you and care about your product that want to help you, right? So,
Yeah. So yeah, we've got all our friends in the video, so they enjoyed seeing themselves getting however many thousands of views online and so on. So it was a fun project, really, in the end.
yeah. I mean, Kickstarter has really kind of changed the way I feel products are not only developed but launched now. I mean, it's really quite fascinating to watch, actually.
Oh, it's a
Um,
cool phenomenon for sure.
and I don't, I don't know how it's all going to pan out in the long run, but I don't think crowdfunding is going to go away. So,
No, no,
so
no,
I
because
think
now
that,
they've got it to where you can just launch your own crowdfunding thing on your own site and everything else if you really want to. But it's cool to see the shift that they've created by doing it. It really has. It's shifted the whole market because it gives you that option. I mean, there's always going to be the people that aren't able to deliver the products, and it takes longer than they say it's going to take. So then you got customers that get kind of pissy and everything else. But at the end of the day, it becomes a really cool option for companies to get the capital that they need to go ahead and get the prices that they would rather have for the customers.
Mm.
Because for us, it's like, yeah, we could go and pay our own money and order these things one by one and so on and so forth. But if we get 1,000 orders in advance, then getting the plastic and getting all the different components become much cheaper because we can order them all in bulk, and we don't have to worry about whether or not we're going to sell them. So it eliminates a little bit of risk on our end, and it lowers the price for everybody else. So it's pretty cool. I love the model. I think the model's fantastic. That's why
Yeah.
we're excited to be a part of Kickstarter. So I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
that's why we've kind of shifted a lot of our interviews towards Kickstarter type people like you, because I think, interesting stories to tell. I mean, they're all a little bit different. I think there's some common threads in what you've talked about today that's a little different. But there is some unique things because of the product, right? So.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, I wanted to ask you before we close the interview off. What's the roadmap to production at this point? When would let's say the Kickstarter was successful, and I know you already mentioned that even if it wasn't
Sure,
successful, you're moving forward.
sure.
What's the first delivery date of the first units?
First delivery date is December, so
Hmm.
we're looking to get everything out before Christmas is the goal, obviously. But we right now all we're really doing is finalizing production. The app is the functionality of the app is basically done. He has to add my pretty screens on top of it so that it looks very user friendly, but everything else is basically done. So it works. We can track it for miles and so on and so forth. So that part's nice. Um, we'll be finalizing that and then adding in the UI for people, and
Hmm.
then going in and placing orders, bulk orders to our suppliers. We've already worked out our supply chain. We've got the different people that are bringing in all the different pieces as far as everything goes. We'll finalize some design aspects because as we've done this, we've got a lot of feedback on, the shape of it, size, and things like that. So we'll continue to modify that just as our chip boards get smaller, we'll be able to make it smaller. That's just the way it works. So, but we're actually doing really well from the production standpoint. So,
Oh man, you guys are going to be riding the wave, because with this Internet of Things happening and a lot of those smaller ARM devices that are coming out that will just add more power to a small footprint,
oh
man.
yeah.
You guys are
Well, it's
just going to
crazy
be
because
riding
when
the
we
wave.
first started, as an example, as you're talking about, so in the 30 days that we've been doing this, when we started, our chip could read about the Bluetooth side could read about 300 feet. Since then, we found a chip that can read up to a quarter mile. So all of a sudden, we went from 300 feet to a quarter mile with our Bluetooth reading device
Wow.
just in the 30 days that we started doing this. So, like you said, things just change and it gets better. And that made it smaller, actually. So we have a smaller chip that can read a quarter mile away. It's kind of crazy. So,
That's
we're
totally
excited to see
crazy.
where it'll go in the next 6 months between now and the time that we do actually launch the whole entire thing. Who knows how far that, I mean, shoot,
I'm
I might be able to see you over in San Francisco from Phoenix from here, baby. We got this. So,
It's
who
just going to
knows?
get better, right? It's just going to get better for the
Yeah.
people who get this device, right? So okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to close off the interview. And so, how can listeners get a hold of you and learn more about the Total Palm Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're on Kickstarter. You can just search for Total Palm on Kickstarter, or you can go to www.totalpalm.com, POM by the way, and that's our website that we've created specifically for this device. Ecopack.com is our parent company if you want to go check out the sustainable packaging if anybody's interested in that side, I guess. But yeah, and then info at Total Palm is our
Mm.
basic email for people to go ahead and go to.
Yeah.
Or you
So
can
you can,
always email me, Shaun at ecopack.com.
yeah, and I guess that guy that's doing that monitoring almost 24 hours a day
Yeah,
will get that
I'll relieve
message,
some of
right?
that stress. That's my way, I guess.
Okay. Well, anyway, thanks again. Now that was Shaun Alexander of Total Palm giving you the peace of mind of your things, and the things that are most valuable in your life, actually. So thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Greg Boria, a.k.a. Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerdstalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Thanks again, Shaun. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Have a good one.